All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be talking about the Landsraad system in Dune Awakening, the upcoming survival MMO that I myself and many other survival game enthusiasts are going to be playing coming up here. First thing we want to talk about a little bit here is what a Landsraad is, what the Landsraad system is. The Landsraad is an event that takes place every single week in the deep desert in Dune Awakening, where the two factions, House Harkonnen and House Atreides, will vie for the favor and vote of the 25 great houses represented by these tiles here in the center of the Landsraad board. Every single week, in order to interact with this system, you're going to have to go out into the deep desert. You're going to have to find these representatives somewhere in the incredibly large deep desert region. You're going to have to convince them to tell you what their great house's objective is for that week. And then you have to help them complete that objective by capturing control points and maintaining them, by delivering resources or items, by delivering spice, by doing a large variety of activities that is going to be ever expanding, right? The team is going to constantly be adding new activities to this. And whichever faction, right, out of Harkonnen or Atreides gets to 70,000 favor with each of these first will actually earn their vote. You see this week on this Landsraad board, House Atreides is actually destroying House Harkonnen. Hopefully this isn't something we're going to see very often. I'd like to see things to be a little closer. But you'll see that House Atreides has already claimed all of these votes, meaning they've already gained the 70,000 favor required to claim all of these votes. Now, this is just a system to see who gets the most votes, but there's an underlying and special way that you can win the week of the Landsraad, and that is by getting a Connect 5, basically. You can get that Connect 5 vertically, you can get it horizontally, or you can get it of these two diagonals. So there are a total of 12 different ways that you can connect 5 of these in a row. And if you get that, it doesn't matter how many votes the other team has already received. As soon as somebody gets 5 in a row like this, that's it. Game over. You win. So a great little underdog system there, a way for the people who are maybe losing to be able to make a little bit of a comeback. And it is just because of that system, right? That system of Connect 5 that actually puts a lot of strategy into the Landsraad system, because it's no longer just about finding the representatives and then beating the representatives' objectives. It's about finding the right representatives. It's about finding the right tiles. It's about completing the right quests to block these Connect 5s from your enemies. So we're going to talk about some really basic strategy here real quick. I don't want to get too into the weeds with it, but I just want to leave you with a little something that can inform your decisions as you go and as you uncover new house representatives and uncover new quests and uncover new tiles each week. I want to leave you with just a little bit of an idea of what some of the best locations that you can take are and some of your best moves, and just a general way to think about the strategy as you go through. So the first thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about impact. Each of these tiles is going to have a different impact on the board, a different amount of impact on the board. For example, this claimed tile right here, um, that is 3 across 1 down, right? We are, well, 3 across 2 down. Let's keep the numbering correct, right? So 3 across 2 down. This is one of the worst tiles that you can get in the entire game. The reason it's one of the worst tiles you can get in the entire game is because it only applies pressure and blocks in 2 directions. Only apply pressure across here and here, and you only block across here and here. This is a really, really bad tile. It also doesn't really leave you a lot of opportunities to be blocking diagonals and gaining additional pressure across a line. You only have access to 2 of the tiles of the 8 diagonal tiles that come across here. You only have access to 2 of those to increase your value across your line here by giving you 2 in a row instead of 1. So these 4 tiles around the center here are actually the worst tiles on the board. If you uncover these tiles early, do not stop scouting to take these tiles. If your opponents take these tiles, they're not really doing themselves any favor. And the time that they took to take these tiles could have been spent better actually continuing to go out and continuing to scout to try and earn those fives in a row. So don't get trapped by taking these 4 tiles. Now, I would like to talk about what the best tile in the game is. The best tile in the game is, without question, center tile, right here. It's all about this center tile, and the reason is it's the only tile on the board that blocks 4 of the 12 possible connect 5s and applies pressure in 4 directions. You have the across in the middle, you have the across north and south, or top and bottom. You have both diagonals. As soon as you take this middle piece, your opponent can no longer do a diagonal. We're going to talk for a second why that's even more powerful than blocking any other potential outlet. And then you also apply pressure here. So now you have access to being able to take a huge number of additional tiles to start giving yourself even more presence on the board and sort of multiplying the threat that you have to be putting down a connect 5. So the reason that this is even more important than just the power it gives you to make more connections and the power it gives you to block is it also prevents your enemy from really being able to make any use out of the second best tiles in the game. The second best tiles in the game are all of these diagonals. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These 8 tiles are the second best tiles in the game. And the reason for that is they are the only tiles in the game that affect 3 of the connect 5s at a time. So you have a diagonal that each of these connect to, and then you have a vertical and a horizontal that each of these connect to. Not only are these connecting to the diagonal and the vertical and horizontal, but they also each connect to each other. So if for some reason your diagonal gets blocked, moving to another diagonal still gives you value. So if I was to take here, and then an enemy was to go ahead and block me here, then I can still get value out of this X, right? I can still get value out of taking this spot, and I can still get value here by either choosing to go this way or this way. Because that gives me threat in 2 directions now, because I have threat going here. I now have 2 in a row, and I have a threat going here, depending on which one of these I take, right? Going 2 in a row or 2 in a row here. So I'm multiplying my threat. Every time my opponent blocks me, my threat is multiplied. So don't get caught up taking some of these really bad locations like these here. These are all pretty bad locations. These off corners are great if you don't get the center, because these off corners allow you to block any of the diagonals, right? They give you 2 avenues to block diagonals that also give you 2 in a row. So these off corners, if you can't get a hold of the center line, you can't get a hold of this one right here, then you're going to want to take an off corner. So that way, no matter what diagonal your opponent starts going down, you have access all of the corners and all of the other diagonals to block. But you have that access in a way that is going to be giving you bonuses. Now, things are looking a little messy here, and I apologize about that. But basically, it boils down to the middle is king, the diagonals are king. And if you've got yourself on the back foot, take one of these right here. So I'm going to look at it again for you. So my opponent takes the center, and I take myself an off corner. Now they can go to any of the 8 diagonals to multiply their force, right? So say they take this one again. I have 2 possible options that provide me 2 in a row to block that diagonal, right? I can go here and I can block that diagonal and put myself in the lead with 2 in a row, or I can go here and block that diagonal and put myself with 2 in a row. And it doesn't matter which option my enemy takes, right? If they go here, I can come right down here and block that diagonal, or I can go right here and block that diagonal and give myself 2 in a row. And it doesn't matter which of these off corners that you take, right? This one works, 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 this one works. It doesn't matter. Every single one of those put you in the same position. So these are your 2 best starting moves. You definitely want to go for that middle tile. Do not stop scouting until you find the middle tile and take it. Everything else that comes before that is completely unimportant. Find yourself the middle tile, get the middle tile, and if for some reason you lose that fight, don't forget about these off corners. They're really going to save your bacon when it's time to start blocking those connect 5 from your enemies. Thank you all very much for your time here. If you got any value out of the video, don't forget to like and subscribe here on YouTube or follow me over on Twitch. I stream every single day, and on June 10th, when Dune goes into its full launch, I'm going to be doing a huge blowout stream. We're starting a big guild. We're going to have ourselves a lot of fun. So thanks again for your time. I hope you all have a great day.